What's going on, everybody? Dr. Delatorro, welcome back to my channel. Listen, I love the power of habits. Here's the truth, right? Let me just break something down to you. According to whose studies you believe, 40 to 60% of what you do every single day, you're not doing it at the conscious level, you're doing it at the unconscious level, which means you're really doing it at the habit level. And I believe that all real change, all real growth, all real success is the success that we do habitually. The stuff that we don't even have to think about. We just execute on it. Does that make sense? And so I've been a successful entrepreneur and speaker, keynote speaker for over 20 years. And I've learned a lot. My mentors have taught me a whole lot. And I've gleaned so much over the last 20 years as it pertains to what it takes to be successful, right? And these hacks that I'm gonna give you are really 5 habits that were game changers for me. When I wasn't clear about my next level, when I wasn't clear about my next move, when I wasn't clear about my next strategy, when I was stuck at a certain income level, when I was stuck at a certain level of happiness emotionally, when I was stuck at a certain level spiritually. Have you ever been stuck before? Have you ever been in that place where you just couldn't figure it out? Well, these habits were game changers for me. And I wanna share these habits with you to help shift you at the soul level, to take you to the next level and take you to the next place. So sit back, relax, listen, enjoy this, take notes, fire off in the comments, and let me know you're getting massive value out of this, all right? The first thing that has made the biggest impact in my life, I gotta say, has been mentorship. Mentorship has easily been one of the greatest habits. Now you might say, okay, well, mentorship, would you really call mentorship a habit? Yes, and here's why. I believe that mentorship has been a game-changing habit for me and so many other remarkable influencers for 2 reasons. When you think about it like this, okay, mentorship is twofold. Mentorship is the habit of having people who are more successful than you pour into you, but it's also the habit of you pouring yourself into people who want to be as successful as you. Did you catch that? See, mentorship should go in both directions. And people don't teach you this stuff. This stuff isn't taught. We're taught, oh, go find a mentor. And that's great, and that's awesome. And I mentor tons of entrepreneurs and keynote speakers and help them build 6, 7, and 8-figure speaking businesses. But watch this. Most people don't teach about the importance of the fact that mentorship works in 2 directions. So not only have I developed over the decades the habit of constantly, no matter what it is I wanted to create success in, I found a mentor in that area to help to grow me, cultivate me, take me to the next level, right? But I also have spent time, once I mastered a subject, I began to start to mentor others to teach them how to do it. Does that make sense? And as soon as you begin to start to develop the habit of not only seeking out and investing in and spending quality time around the best of the best of the best, which is what I've done, one of the things that's allowed me to be successful as a speaker is I found who the best were and I put myself around them and I constantly made investments and I constantly, to this present day, making investments to keep myself around the best of the best in whatever the industry is. So my friend, whatever your industry is, have you made a decision to put yourself around the best of the best that do it? And not only the best of the best that do it, but the best of the best that teach it. Let me share something with you that has everything to do with this and nothing to do with this at the same time. This is really kind of gangster cool. Watch this. I think some of us have made poor investments in mentoring and coaching because we saw someone that had a talent and we thought that because they had a talent, they also had the ability and the anointing to train. And those are 2 different skill sets, okay? So sometimes we see the word mentorship and we say, ooh, I hired a mentor or a coach before and I don't want to do that again because they were a bad mentor or coach. Well, maybe it's you paid someone who had the skill to execute, but not the skill to train and teach. And that's what I'm so grateful about the brand that we've built, is because I've spent 20 years not only executing the skill on stage of speaking all over the world, 4,000 paid talks, but because my master's degree is in curriculum design and development, I've also spent 2 decades using instructional systems and curriculum design on Fortune 50, Fortune 100 corporations all over the world, as well as 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs all over the world as well. So I love being able to not only execute the skill, but train the skill as well. And that's what's so very important about the habit of mentorship. So let me ask you a question. Have you spent enough time really seeking out the best of the best in your industry and really saying, let me submit, write that word down, put it in the comments, let me submit to the proper mentor who can coach me, train me, develop me, and take me to the next level. And then once I've learned it, pouring those into quality mentees who are people who are coming behind me. Who's coming behind you that you need to pour yourself into, that you need to pour your gifts and talents and abilities and skills into? Because watch this, your mistakes, your mishaps, your misfortune, and all of your bad decisions make perfect sense as life lessons to a mentee, but they don't make sense to you if you don't teach those lessons to someone who's coming behind behind you. So mentorship has been a massive, massive habit game changer for me, and I want it to pay off in your life as well. The second one, masterminds, right? I've spent the last 2 decades being in several different types of masterminds. So I want you to write these down because there's different types of masterminds, right? So I've been in paid masterminds. I've been in invitation-only masterminds. I've been in peer-to-peer masterminds. I've been in barter masterminds. I've been in several different types of masterminds. So let me kind of break down what a mastermind is. A mastermind, and Napoleon Hill talks about this extensively in his incredible book, Think and Grow Rich, how powerfully important it is for us to create a collective mind, right? So basically what a mastermind says is that 2 minds are better than 1 and 5 minds are better than 2. So when you can put yourself around other like-minded, like-hearted, like-spirited, like-purposed individuals, the brain that's created in the collective is more powerful than any one of our individual brains. Does that make sense? So one of the things that's really been a game changer for me is constantly putting myself around other intelligent individuals who are learning, growing, and gleaning and developing at the next level. So when you're a part of a mastermind, basically what happens is you come together with other people who are trying to achieve a similar goal as you, and you share what's working in your life, in your business, and your brand, what's not working in your life, business, and your brand, and you teach the things that's working for you, they teach the things that's working for them. Any areas of weakness, I guarantee you, wherever you're weak, there's somebody else in the mastermind who's strong, and they can give you coaching in that area, right? So the beautiful part about a mastermind is that when you get 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 like-minded, like-hearted, like-spirited individuals together, you guys can bounce great ideas off of each other. You can open up each other's Rolodex. You can teach, you can learn from one another. You can do joint ventures together. You can do JV partnerships together. And the most successful entrepreneurs and the most successful speakers that are out there are in masterminds. All of them. There's not a single speaker, top influencer, top entrepreneur, top stage presenter that you can name to me that I cannot find a mastermind group that they're a part of. Now, there's, like I said, different types of masterminds. You can pay to be in masterminds, and I think paid masterminds are incredible because at least you know, when I make this investment, I get this return, right? You can also be a part of invitation-only masterminds. And I've been a part of invitation-only masterminds where I still had to pay. I was invited to an elite group, but even to be in the group, I got a private invitation and I still had to pay. I've also been a part of private invitations where there wasn't a fee to be in the mastermind, but you had to have a certain level of skill set and a certain level of income to be able to like-mindedly add value to each other at that same level. So for example, I've been a part of masterminds where they say, okay, your speaking business has to at least be at $100,000 a year or $500,000 a year or $1 million annually in order to be in this mastermind. There's no cost to get into it once you're there, but the cost was scaling your business to the level to where you would get the invitation to be in the room. Does that make sense? But when you're in masterminds, you get to hear other business models, other concepts, other tax saving strategies, other ways of generating multiple streams of income. Does that make sense? So what I love about masterminds is the more masterminds you're a part of, the greater your opportunities are, the more exposure you get, the more open doors you get. One mastermind partner can open up a door for you that it might have taken you 2 and 3 years of trying to do it on your own on social media, or do it on your own through your own networking, or do it on your own because they have access to doors that you don't have access to. That's the beautiful part about a mastermind group. So a massive habit, and everybody that's in my life knows that I really believe in the importance of mastermind groups. And when I'm not on stage speaking, and when I'm not on television being interviewed, and when I'm not creating content, 9 times out of 10 on a monthly basis, I'm sitting in some mastermind, online or in person, learning, taking notes, growing as a CEO, growing as an entrepreneur, growing as a speaker, growing as a business owner, growing as an online influencer, and fill in the blank. And I'm sitting next to people who are kicking butt and taking names too, but you can't be good at everything. So for example, I could go into one mastermind meeting and I'm the #1 person in that mastermind group who's done the most in terms of media and television. Does that make sense? But guess what? There's other people in that same mastermind group whose Instagram following is 50 times bigger than mine. So yeah, I might be killing it on national television, but they're killing it on Instagram. And then there might be somebody else in that same mastermind who's killing it in terms of how they've invested their speaker profits into real estate. Does that make sense? So that's the beautiful part about a mastermind, is that no one person is killing it in every area. They're killing it in some area, and you can learn and glean from them, and then you can add your value to where they're weak. Does that make sense? Iron sharpens iron when iron is around iron. So my friend, you got to get around the iron by staying in and being a part of powerful mastermind groups that are going to grow you and take you to the next level. That's one of the reasons why I love the inner circle that we offer, because the inner circle gives you the best of mentorship and mastermind all at the same time. The third piece that I want to talk to you about is mindset. Now, most people, when you watch a lot of YouTube videos, they start with mindset. I put mindset third. And the reason why is because I really believe that a habit that I've developed over the decades is constantly working on this thing right up here. Constantly working on my mindset. Constantly understanding that, listen, if I'm gonna be the best, I gotta constantly be exposing myself to new books, new thinking, new research, right? What's happening in my industry? What's happening in the industry of my client? My friend, you gotta constantly be working on your mindset, because the truth is, the majority of us, our predominant mindset was developed by the time we were 7 years old. And we spend the majority of our life justifying the mindset that was framed by the time we were 7. So a lot of us, our mindset to this day was shaped by the time we were 7, 8 years old. We spend our adult lives justifying why we think the way we think, why we earn what we earn, why we do what we do. And a lot of that stuff was formed in our childhood. That's why the majority of therapists, mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, 9 times out of 10, if they're gonna get you to grow and go to the next level, they have to revisit what? Your childhood, to figure out where things started. What was the root system that created the fruit that you don't enjoy in your life? Does that make sense? We'll have to do a whole separate video about that. But my friend, I really believe if you wanna take it to the next level, it really begins with cultivating a better, stronger mindset, right? So understand something. There's a difference between your brain and your mind. Did you hear what I just said? There's a difference between your brain and your mind, okay? Your brain is this organ between your 2 ears, right, inside your skull, that keeps your body alive, that runs your body. That's your brain. Your mind is the consciousness, right, from which you think from, dream from, achieve from, aspire from, feel from. Does that make sense? And your mind is what can constantly be shifted, changed, and evolved. And y'all watch this. Here's the beautiful part. The more we develop our mind, the more it impacts our brain. Well, Dr. Delatorro, what do you mean by that? There's a concept called neuroplasticity. You don't have to believe me. Research it yourself. Neuroplasticity is our ability to literally change the way our brain functions by thinking better thoughts, by shifting the way we think, by shifting what we read, shifting what we put inside, right? I love something that Earl Nightingale talked about in The Strangest Secret. He said, your brain, your mind is like a fertile farmland, and the mind's job is only to do one thing: harvest whatever you plant. Have you ever noticed that if you plant something in the ground does not complain about whatever you planted? Why? That's not the ground's job. The soil's job is to do one thing: harvest whatever you plant. If you plant crap, it's gonna harvest crap. If you plant beautiful crops, it's gonna harvest that as well. The soil's job is to manifest whatever you put in it. The mind's job is the same way. The brain's job is the same way. Its number one responsibility is to harvest whatever you plant. Here's my real tough question for you. With the books that you're reading, with the podcasts that you're listening to, with the social media feed that you have, with the news that you're watching, the television that you're watching, the movies that you're watching, with the radio that you're listening to, the articles that you're reading, the online courses that you're digesting, maybe the mastermind groups that you're in. All of these are inputs that are radically influencing your what? Your mindset. Every single day, you have a chance to cultivate a stronger, healthier, more powerful, more productive mindset towards your dreams, and specifically towards your speaking dreams. And so that's why you got to be around people that shift your mindset. You got to write this down. You have to put it in the comments. You have to surround yourself with thinking that outthinks you. So again, they believe in mentorship, they're in masterminds, and they constantly work on their mindset. You know what else they do? They constantly work on their money psychology. You and I both know that at the end of the day, a lot of us were not raised to think really amazing thoughts about money. Why? Because most of us were raised in an environment that said that making money is a bad thing. Making money is evil. Making money is hard. Making money is difficult. Making money is slick oil, right? If you make good money, you have to be shiesty. We've been programmed and conditioned, and the get rich quick is a what? It's a scam. If you get rich quick, it's a scam. It's impossible to get rich quick. It's impossible to become wealthy quickly. We've been trained and programmed that all that stuff is bad, even when it's not. That's what we've been taught, so that's what we believe. Does that make sense? We're taught that, listen, money doesn't grow on trees, so we were taught that money is scarce. We were taught that money comes in twice a month, 15th and the 30th. We were taught that money is hard to come by. Many of us were taught that you had to do bad things to make a lot of money, or you have to sell your soul to the devil in order to do it, right? A lot of us manipulate and twist scripture to think that in order to be Christ-like, you have to be broke, which is far from the truth. There's more scriptures in the Bible about money than it is about the actual word heaven. Did you know that? Whole different subject on a different day. My point, my friend, a lot of us, our money psychology is jacked up. It's one of the habits that I've developed, and one of the habits that I believe that you need to develop if you really want to create a game-changing habit in your your life is begin to start to really work on your money psychology. Start reading quality books that will shift your money consciousness and your money psychology. Every single month, you should be listening to a good audio book or a podcast. Stay subscribed to podcasts that shift your money consciousness. Stay around masterminds and mentorship that shifts your belief about money. Brian Tracy calls it your financial thermostat. We all have one. For some of you all, your financial thermostat might be $40,000 a year. I know for years, I thought you make 40 grand a year, you're set, you're good, right? Until I listened to something from Bob Proctor and he said, when was the last time you thought about ways that you can make your annual income your monthly income? And I was like, whoa, what do you mean? Bob Proctor was a mentor of mine before he passed. May he rest in peace, power, and prosperity. And so now all of a sudden I had to think about, how do I take $40,000, which is what I'm used to making per year, how do I make that every single month? And I've made $40,000 in a month. Multiple times. Oh my God, right? I've made $40,000 in a day. As a top keynote speaker, I know what it's like to give an incredible speech and make $40,000 in an hour at the product table right after I was done speaking. So by graduating my money psychology and staying in the right mastermind and having the right mentors pour into me and constantly upgrading my mindset, I've been able to evolve my money psychology and my money consciousness. And that allowed me to go from $40,000 a year to $40,000 a quarter, $40,000 a week, $40,000 a month, $40,000 in a day, $40,000 in an hour. Does that make sense? All graduated levels of income. But in order to graduate those different levels of income, my friend, I had to be able to upgrade my mindset and upgrade my money psychology. Put it in the comments if you're ready to upgrade your money psychology. Reach out to one of our team members. We would love to help mentor you and train you and coach you on how to take your money mindset to a completely different dimension, because you deserve it, because abundance is your birthright, my friend. The fifth principle I want to share with you really quickly is listen. And one of the keys has been a massive habit, game changer for me, is number 5. Once you get moving, you better stay moving. Momentum. One of the keys to my success, friend, has been once I'm going and I'm in motion, I stay in motion. One of the laws of motion says this: an object in motion will what? Stay in motion unless it is acted on by an outside source. An object at rest will what? Stay at rest unless that object is what? Acted on by an outside source. So one of the things that everybody knows about my brand is I am constantly moving. There is never a time when I'm not doing anything. There's always multiple things happening in my brand all at the same time. And that's one of the keys to our success, is that, okay, cool, not only do we have this going on, we have this, and that going on as well. It's like cooking a meal, right? So like in 2000, like last year, we were promoting a book while we were also building an online course, while we were also doing challenges, while we were also doing media and television all over the place, while we were also mentoring and doing masterminds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always multiple things going on. That creates massive amounts of momentum. And people like to be around people and brands that are moving, that are going somewhere, that are taking things to that next level, right? Don't you like to be around influencers who are kicking butt and taking names, and you see movement and energy and momentum around their career? Let me ask you a question. Have you noticed that there are certain people that no matter what happens in their life, no matter what challenges or adversity or hardship befalls them, they somehow always land on their feet and they always continue to succeed? But I guarantee you, while you know those people, you also know people who, no matter what they try, they just can't ever seem to get their foot out of the mud. They can't seem to get one foot in front of the other. They continue to take one step forward and 3 steps back. You know those folks too, right? Those folks don't have momentum. Write this down. Momentum is the hardest thing to build and the easiest thing to lose. So when you get it, keep it. It's like integrity. Integrity is hard to build and easy to lose. It takes decades to build integrity. It takes one stupid action to destroy it. So momentum, movement, keep energy, movement, and life around your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations in business and life and in speaking. And my friend, you will change and transform your life. If you have gotten massive value out of these M's and you know there's some work that you can do to go from thinking about these M's to taking some small actions towards these M's to making these M's unconscious, game-changing habits in your business that impact your personal life for the rest of your life and your professional life and your bank account, we'd love to help you. Reach out to one of our team members, schedule a call so we can make some great things happen for you and your business and your brand as well. Listen, this is Dr. Delatorro signing off, saying shoot for the top. It's the bottom that's out, overcrowded. And remember that this is your year to shift your speaking career into a higher gear. Talk to you soon.